everyone, and welcome to another interview in my series of Connecting to Your Intuition. I am happy to welcome Jonita D'souza, who's here to talk about her story and how she came to do what she does. Welcome, Jonita, and thank you so much for joining me.
I'm so excited. Thank you, Dee, for providing this space and opportunity to talk on this special topic. I know we don't get an opportunity to speak on all these topics on a regular basis, but places like this are precious, and I'm so grateful that you're doing this. Thank you.
Oh my God, thank you very much. My pleasure. I'm happy. I love talking about it as well, and agree with you. We don't talk about it enough. There's so much to uncover, and I think it's also a reminder that we all have different ways as like healers, coaches, therapists of surrendering and tapping into our intuition and what it means. So I'm glad you're here. And Jonita, would you like to explain to the audience, tell them how you got to doing what you do?
Okay, yes. I was born in India. I was born and raised in India. And I had this imagination that women in the West were free to express themselves and, and be themselves. Somehow I think the Hollywood movies or the MTV got it, ingrained in my head. And somehow I felt as growing up that this is something that I need to pursue for myself. I need to somehow get to the West so that I can finally be free. And in having said that, I had a very privileged life in India. I grew up in a very privileged family and I very soon became a successful IT engineer, I should say, like most of the Indians, right? and pursued that career, and I was making good money and I was in this boardroom with men, and everything was perfect. I found this independence. However, I did not feel or find the freedom that I was looking for, some kind of self-expression that was limiting me. I have been a big time introvert ever since. So I felt kind of trapped. So I had a good job and I was making good money and everything was fine for a 22-year-old girl, peak of my life at that time, right? And I got an opportunity to go to London. That made me think that this is the moment in my life where I am finally going to be free, because everyone in the West is free, especially women. And I got to London, and it was a good taster. I really enjoyed my life there, and I had a good job. And a couple of years down the line, I realized that yes, women were and are free in the expression of how they look and what they do, but there is something inside of them that is not still free. And I was really disappointed finding out that, neither the East, not the West. What do I do? Where do I go, right? And I was still searching for all of this at that young age of what does it mean to be a free woman or to be a self-expressed woman. And it was during that time my father in India passed away. It was a sudden death, and I was suffering from a very serious skin condition, psoriasis, that spread in my body, and a lot of things came crumbling down in my life at that very one moment, all of a sudden. And that was the moment of realization for me that I don't understand what it means to be happy, what it means to feel good. I have everything that I want in terms of my physical reality, but I don't feel good and I don't understand. And I was angry with God. Why am I having to go through the grief? I did all the things right. I'm a nice girl, went to church and all of those things. Right. And that was the moment, I think, they say that when you're really looking, then you get ways are shown or something happens. So there were a lot of synchronicities that were happening in my life that led me to attend a workshop called Essence. And something really hit me hard the lady running the workshop, she said to me that the most important teaching or gift I can give to anyone is to show them their essence. And I started to cry because I did not know what it meant for me, that essence. What is my essence? Who am I? What is even this word essence, right? So that led to my exploration and the journey of me becoming or trying to find out what my essence was, which eventually opened several other doors, led me to experience different facets of the feminine essence. And eventually it led to a lifestyle where I was working in London and doing this practice, doing this teaching under the teacher on weekends, and also running meetup groups with other women in London to practice what I was learning. And eventually my business was born. There was no desire in the beginning to start this business or to make it a monetary thing for me in my life. It was just pure desire to survive as a woman, to understand what even beauty means, because I was no longer feeling beautiful from the outside. What it means to heal my broken heart from the grieving of my father, what it means to come out of an abusive relationship at that time, you know. So that was my survival game that helped me, and that led to building up my company, which is called Exploring Femininity. And it's been a decade now. So it's been a journey.
Wow, and what a fantastic journey, Jonita. And I'm sure there are going to be people out there watching that can relate to this. I know I can relate to aspects of what you've said. And it's interesting. We are not free to speak with what we want. I feel there's still an equality so many decades down. And for us, it's International Women's Day is coming up in March. So it's good that you're on this mission to help women find their voice, really. And how is it? Are you still running the meetup group, or is that sort of morphed into something else?
Yeah, it eventually evolved into something. The meetup group was initially a practice group. So I opened up this practice group in London, hoping to find few other women to, you know, practice some breath work, some movement, some energy practices. And I started to see signups. There were, in the end of a month, there were 480 women who signed up to this meetup group. And I was like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do?
Yes.
Yeah. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, well, so what did you do? I'm curious. What did you do?
I chickened out, like, you know, went into my old patterns, like, who am I? I'm just learning. Who am I to, you know, take this forward? Or what am I going to tell everyone? Like, what am I doing? I'm a hypocrite, or all of those things just started to backfire. And it was interesting. So I would say that having a support system who can see you beyond your limiting mind is so important, specifically for us women. We have this challenge in us that we don't see ourselves worthy by default. And so having this teacher with me who could actually see me in my highest vision when even I could not see was very important for me.
Yeah.
Very important for me to even think beyond my current reality, right? Like at that time. So well, she told me that I have to up my game, learn some facilitation skills, and see if I can run small groups or some regular groups. I started documenting a lot of things. I wasn't doing any videos or audios because I wasn't capable of that. I thought at that time. I did not have a website or anything, but just through meetup groups. Eventually, I got a lot of support and a lot of feedback, and I realized that I could just be myself in my cocoon. You know, I could be this introvert and I could still do these practices, and then money started to come in, and I'm like, wow, okay, is this even a thing? Can I scale this? So that was just a fluke according to my mind, but I think it was destiny for me.
It sounds like it. And you've made a couple of really important points I wanted to just share, that it is so important for each of us to reach out and connect with a coach and connect with someone who's got your back, someone that you can use as a sounding board, someone who's going to give you the skills to release any blocks or fears or self-doubt, like what we've all experienced it, not just you, Jonita, me as well, over the years. And it's good to have someone to, help unblock your fears, what's holding you back. It could be, individual healing that needs to be done, generational stuff that you might not even be aware of. So it's really important to reach out to, but get a connection and at least have one person. Sometimes it's good to have multiple coaches if you can afford it, because you're going to get different perspectives. Each coach, because an individual, is going to bring you a different perspective. So you can have a broader range of experiences. And that's for, when you want to take yourself to the next level, I feel. And there's something else that you mentioned about, you didn't believe in yourself. So I feel a lot of us are the same. It's like a default that, why me? How can I do this? Who's going to listen to me? Like, it's that whole imposter syndrome that people talk about. Now it's come back to me. And what I also wanted to say is I loved it when you're saying, I'm an introvert and who wants to listen to me? We're also different. So different people are going to be drawn to you, different people are going to be drawn to me and to other speakers. And I'm the same. I'm owning myself, who I am and what I'm all about. And I totally hear it. And I feel it's all part of the growth process, that you have those feelings and thoughts, I'm not an expert. But then through practice and doing things and putting yourself out there, taking a risk, taking a chance, you get that confidence, because surprisingly, which it shouldn't be, you get a positive response and people love what you're doing. And because I was running a Facebook group and I felt I was talking to everyone. I was doing manifesting stuff. Thought I was talking to myself. And then when I closed it down last year, so people said, you're really helpful. That was really helpful. And I thought, I wish you told me earlier.
Never know.
Yeah, exactly. So it is all about following what's happening in your heart. So have you got us some stories, or how do you surrender and manifest, Jonita? Have you got tips?
Yeah. So surrendering is really interesting concept, because it's very challenging for specifically us women. We have been trained by default to like, push, go do it, no pain, no gain. Like, you have to push through, like you have to really, really, really do your best and sacrifice and all of that. And it all felt really good when I was doing all of that in my corporate job. But when I started following my essence, nothing of it felt good. The thought of like pushing to get something felt like, what's the point even, right? What's the point? Why am I pushing, and when will this end, and am I going to be rewarded in the end? Even when I was rewarded, I wasn't happy about it, or content, or fulfilled. So it took me quite a long time to truly understand surrender from a spiritual perspective. Before, I was only applying the feminine principle in surrendering, which is really really detaching, like surrendering as in like letting it go. So I was practicing, okay, how can I practice letting go, detachment, and all of that. And it was working for me for some time, until a repeated pattern or a trigger comes back. And I was like, no, but I was surrendering. I was, kind of letting it go. But I realized that I was not uniting the energies within me, which is both the masculine and feminine principle in surrendering. So the masculine principle of surrendering is about certainty. And this certainty is deep knowing in something beyond ourselves, beyond anything. And if we don't have this certainty, then we cannot detach. We will always at the back of our heads be thinking about, but really, is it really happening? Is it really going to work? Yeah. So it really took me to understand the concept of certainty, to build in this strong knowing. And this knowing, no matter what I did to chase that knowing, did not come to me. This knowing only became very apparent to me in my life when I made the decision and choice that, okay, from this moment on, I decide that I know, I'm certain. I had to hone the concept of certainty as a decision. And that certainty at that time did not look like the truth of the situation. However, I had to call upon a higher aspect of myself that already exists, and really, really, really trust that with true certainty. So I like to say that faith is a choice. You know, nothing in this world can happen that can give you faith if you're looking for a reason. It is a choice you make even in your darkest times. And when we have this certainty, then the detachment becomes easy, because then we are not choosing a specific outcome just to receive the outcome, but we are choosing the aliveness of the outcome. So we know that, okay, I love this, I want this. And even if it doesn't happen, I know that something better will show up.
Yeah, that is so beautifully said. And the penny had, like, I've just had my light bulb moment, because in my other mastermind program, it's driven by a masculine man, and we're doing these certainty statements every day. And now I'm realizing that that's the masculine energy, and I didn't realize I needed to blend the masculine and the feminine, because I've been doing, put it out there, like you've explained, Jonita, explain that put it out there and it's going to happen. But yes, not having that certainty and knowing that it will happen, like having that certainty in a decision and a feeling, like I know things will happen, but I'm not that certain about it. That is a game changer. Yeah. Do you find things happen quicker because you're certain, or it's got nothing to do with the speed?
Yes, a couple of things. Sometimes I experienced different kinds of manifestation. Firstly, I would say when I started honing my certainty with my detachment, what would happen is when I would not receive what I want, because you know how we are taught in manifestation, have a deadline, have a outcome, have something tangible and all of that. And when that did not happen, I didn't feel very sad. I did not feel like a loser. I did not feel like I have messed it up, or I have screwed, or I don't know anything. And when I stopped judging myself for that, manifestation happens the moment after.
Wow.
So I had to many times go through this complete cycle and then just move on, and then that thing appears. So that's the art of surrendering that I have been leaning into.
Yeah, this is so great. This is great. I'm so happy that you're here to explain that. And also, I also find that some things will come in really quickly for me, and I haven't done a lot of, some of it, I've got to be careful with my thoughts. I've had a thought, and I was just having a thought, and things have come in. And it's all, and a really key point you made, this or something better, because that's what I love about connecting, surrendering, manifesting with the universe, that I might think I'm wanting this thing here, but the universe, being as generous and abundant, has got this up here that's, going to serve you better. And it's also about learning the lessons that we've come here to learn, and getting those experiences to have those lessons and learn those lessons. And another thing you touched on before was about having that faith. Now, for me, I'm a spiritual person, but faith is all about, for me, believing and knowing and having faith that something will happen, and having faith that there's a higher power, and I'm looked after and I'm supported. And also I get that confirmation by seeing at the moment, and I've in another post, it's an angelic energy at the moment. So 444s, I see a lot of those. My clock seems to be 8:44 or 9:44. So I thought, great. But I see feathers around, or butterflies and things. So to me, it's having that, letting go and knowing that a higher being, higher power has got my back. Is that how you relate to, Jonita?
Yes, absolutely. I think, sometimes we think ourselves as the creators of our reality. And yes, that is to many extent true. But I found that as a bit burgeoning as well, because there were times when things happened and I was blaming myself, like, hey, but why did I create this? I didn't want to do this. And then I was digging, myself into a pit hole where I had no answers and even more darkness. So I began to expand the knowing that, hey, it's not just me working and doing all of these things. There is me, and there is the creator, the source itself. So I am a co-creator. I am not the creator. So when I tune into this vibe, when I command and invoke and make this as my certainty, that I am a co-creator. So I do my bit, and then I allow the other co-creator, which is the source, the divine, the universe, and all the legions of light and whatever I trust in, let them do their work too. So we meet halfway. So I don't feel burdened that, okay, I've done something and something wrong has happened and I have done this to me, because in that moment I don't understand. And then eventually, when it is past, when time has passed, I do understand. So that has really helped me.
Yeah, I totally agree. You're putting this so beautifully and eloquently. And yes, this is another great reminder that we are all co-creators. And when I tune in, I will imagine my essence from my heart goes out through the top of my head, through the crown chakra, and it goes up and up and up. And I connect with source or the seventh plane. And I always say my essence dissipates and I become one with the creator as a co-creator. You're so right that we're doing our bit, which is as simple, if I can say simple, putting our order out there. This is what I desire. This is what I want to bring into my world. This is and also the other part. So I let it go. And yes, the creator, power does its bit and then gives us the actions to take. So we do our bit, and that's through that beautiful medium that we all have, is using your intuition. And, so it is I love it the way you're explaining it, that it is a co-creation between us, the humans, the source of the power that's up there or wherever it is. It might not necessarily be up there. We always seem to put up there, doing their bit and working together to bring in this or something better. And I always say with grace and ease, and also for the best and highest good of all concerned. So then you're putting it out there to have a really good experience. And, we do get the experiences that we need to learn. Like, this is so cool.
Yeah, I think as women, we take so many roles and we do so much, and there's so much of juggling happening. And then just identifying with the idea that, hey, you're not doing this all by yourself, all alone, and calling in that co-creator energy, and speaking to that, even, to begin with, as an invisible friend, maybe you don't know what it is. And just beginning that is a life changer. For me, it changed the way I was given things, things will open up for me, doors would open up for me. There were clients coming out of nowhere, manifestation was happening in the small ways. Like I would find seats in the crowded train out of nowhere, like I would find money on the street. So this was quite an interesting thing. And when I decided that I am not going to do this by myself, no.
That is the key. And that's another great point about we're not doing it on our own. And you're right. We all feel, I know I have for years, I've had to do this on my own. And as you say, multiple roles, multiple hats on being a woman. And I love it without realizing it, that I am connected, and we've got all our angels, and we've got our spirit guides and angelic, like galactic healing teams around us. We all have them. You might not have a team, but you've got guardian angels and spirit guides that look after you. And it is giving you that sense of connection, and you've got a team, whatever that team looks like. That's valuable. Like, that's gold, knowing that you're not alone, because sometimes it can feel lonely, and
Yeah,
particularly
it's very
if you're
daunting.
creating something, or if you've got a business, or you're single coach and you're running a business, you can easily feel on your own. And then it's good to reach out and be part of a mastermind or working with other coaches or groups, tons of groups on Facebook, but also know that you can create what you want with your own angelic, higher power team. I love it, Jonita. So,
Yeah, yeah. And what I've also learned that as women, many times we are even afraid to receive. You know, we are scared because it may make us do things beyond who do we think we are. Yeah, just like how
yes,
my story was, right?
yes.
So yeah, that's a big piece for us women. And this is like, there are so many layers to manifestation, beyond the techniques itself, because techniques and steps are another one thing, but then there are different layers of psyche that we get to explore as women when we come into manifestation.
That's so true. And you've brought another beautiful point about receiving. Have you got any tips or how you open up to receive? Because that is so important. It's one thing to put it out there, take the action. It's another thing to be ready to say, yes, well, I'd like this, even though it could be scary, because it could be taking yourself to that next level that you're not sure of. So what would you share with the audience about receiving?
So it's really interesting. My observation, what has been for me, is that when I wanted something, when I wanted to manifest something, so I have my mind, and then I have the doing things that I want to do, like masculine, and then I have the being things, which is the feminine. So I was just kind of like doing this dance between the doing and the being. So I have to do certain things, I have to be certain way, and all of that was really good to begin with, to create a foundation, to expand my energy into different knowings and perspective. And once again, I hit roadblock over the long run when I think it's just not me, but many of us women go into perfectionism a lot when we set our minds to something. And so again, I started hitting the wall of perfectionism that, hey, I did not do enough, or maybe I did not be enough. And then I realized that, okay, I'm winding myself up again. What do I do? And through conversations with other colleagues like this, I came to an understanding that, okay, from this point on, my receiving is no longer attached to my doing or my being. My receiving is a choice. That's it. That is a choice I make. So whatever I do or I don't do, or I be or I don't be, I will not put conditions on my receiving. So now the task began to decipher what were the conditions I was putting on myself about receiving. And through realizations, I decided that my receiving will be a choice. And that's it. No conditions. I will choose, and I'm choosing, and it's a choice. It's a decision. It's a choice. No conditions. And this itself is a lot of work, like peeling an onion. The conditions we have put on ourselves in order to receive. And what we are doing is we are just we're just going around the hamster wheel just by putting our own conditions on ourselves, because no one has done it on us. We do it to ourselves.
That's really cool what you're saying. Now, in terms of no conditions, so what do you say? Do you say something to yourself, or do you just open and receptive to receiving, or what? How do you do that?
So, there are good days and there are bad days. And then when there are bad days, then we think that, okay, I'm not going to receive, or I'm going to screw up my whole manifesting thing that was so good for until day 17. And then day 18, I screwed up. Yeah. So I just say that my receiving is based on who I am in this moment. That's it.
Love it. That is so simple.
Yeah,
that's
if in
so
this
simple.
moment, right. And now the question is, who are you in this moment? Are you being true to yourself? And that's just, that's another layer.
So do you go into a bit deep conversation with yourself about who you are in this moment, or you
Right now it has become really easy for me because I just have those questions in my mind. But in the beginning, it used to be this way, that I receive because of who I am in this moment. And then I ask myself, am I being myself in this moment? Am I doing, or am I being, or whatever I'm feeling, is it in full integrity, even if it means that I don't do what is meant to be done according to the books?
Wow, these are good tips. I hope everyone's writing it down, or you've got the replay to listen to it. So yes, that I think I liked it when you, like, at the end you simplified, like, who am I in this moment? Well, because yeah, it's all in the moment. So it's all about, I'm ready to receive my order or what I desire in this moment as I am. I still would say with grace and ease and for my best and highest good.
Yes.
So then that covers everything. You're in the moment, you want the best, this or better, if you wanted to say that. But I feel for your best and highest good is going to be better than, going to be, it has everything in it. It's easy.
Yeah.
This has been really fascinating, Jonita. I'm so glad you're here to explain the concepts, because we all have our own meanings that we put on things, and I feel you've really explained it well. And do you feel that you've got freedom now after doing all this work?
Very good question. I ask myself this sometimes. I had I would say my definition of freedom is different now.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah.
And you're manifesting what you want.
I'm getting good at it, I must say. I'm
Good.
getting good at it. Yeah.
So practice makes perfect.
I'm also learning. I do mistakes and I fail as well. And I have a cry and I allow myself. I go into my dark place as well, and I come back into my light space too. And I don't judge myself anymore into that.
That's so good. And it is a balance about going into the light and the dark, because everything is polarity. You've got the ups, the downs. The downs are where you learn the most and learn about yourself and make the changes. And then it's important to celebrate those ups, because the downs have got you to the up, if that makes sense. And practice manifesting. Pick yourself up. I feel, don't judge yourself. Was really key. You said then about, we're all learning. And I feel we are, onions. I must be this gigantic onion because I keep peeling back. And as you're getting deeper to the core, it's more potent, the lessons and the learnings and the shifts that you need to make. That's my experience. And keep on going. So it's really been a pleasure having this conversation with you, Jonita. Thank you so much for sharing. Please tell everyone about your free gift. Nearly forgot.
Yeah. So my free gift is Sensualize Your Womb. It's a free series, 7 days free series for women who could use many rituals that I have shared to connect with their womb space. And it's about connecting with your inner knowing, your intuition. And I feel that for us women, that's a beautiful place to begin with in our bodies.
Fantastic. Beautiful. So I hope you're all drawn to connect. There'll be a link where you can join and get that beautiful gift. Have you got a final statement that you'd like to leave us with, Jonita?
Final statement. I think final statement. I like to say, and I like to believe that there is a grander version of ourselves that exists, and the more we bring closer that version to our own selves, the more we are open to miracles and magic and deeper levels of manifestation. So each one of us have a grander version of ourselves within.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. That is beautiful. So I hope you've all enjoyed this conversation as much as I have with Jonita. She's given us some gold and explained a lot of things I wasn't 100% sure of. So watch it again if you need to. And thank you, Jonita, so much for being part of this series.
My pleasure. It was fun.
Thank you.